Tom Allen's defense is all about speed and aggression, but is Clemson's secondary the weakest link for 2025? We'll talk about it right here on Locked on Clemson.
You are Locked on Clemson, your daily podcast on the Clemson Tigers. Part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Tiger fans? Morgan Thomas here, Clemson fan, Clemson grad, host and producer of Locked on Clemson, part-time host and producer over on 105.5 FM, The Roar, the Clemson flagship station. Thank you so much for making Locked on Clemson your first listen every day. We're part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day. And if you're new to the show, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so you never miss an episode. You know how we do it here on Locked on. Exclusive Clemson content Monday through Friday. And don't forget, you can always check me out over on X at the Morgan T Show, where we can talk about all things Clemson. Today's episode, we're going to discuss the cornerback outlook. I know a lot of people have gotten in on the comments over on YouTube and messaged me over on X and said, hey, I really feel like this is going to be the biggest weakness for Clemson, and we'll talk about it. I'll tell you if I think you're right or wrong. And then we'll kind of break down the entire outlook of the secondary, because it seems like people are getting a little bit concerned as we wait for the season to come along. So let's jump right into it. Before we do, I want to let you know that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. And the thing for me with the cornerback outlook is when you look at, 2025, it's going to be similar, but not so much. Still a lot of question marks in the depth of this group with the entire secondary. Really, when you talk about secondary, we're really talking about the cornerbacks and the safety. So not the defensive line, the defensive interior guys, or the linebackers, even though, the linebackers can play coverage at times. We're talking about cornerbacks who are going to line up against wide receivers to the outside, typically your taller guys, that you're going to have to be defending. A lot of times the cornerbacks are a little bit smaller than a wide receiver, but they usually have good one-on-one coverage skills, good off the snap, aggressiveness, and good step-for-step pace with wide receivers, and really good hip movement as well. And they have high ball ability to be able to high point, and not be overpowered by a taller receiver, because you are going to have to go up against guys that are typically taller than you. And then you have the secondary that's out there to kind of be the blanket over the top, make sure there's no deep balls going out, but also kind of play in and get a lot of tackles as well. The secondary can be your last line of defense against a team that's been able to get to the first and second level against you. So the secondary kind of is that safety valve for you. And then there's a unique position that, is the nickel position. That's really going to be a guy who covers the slot or the inside receiver for the defense. So Clemson is going to have a hybrid role as well. Tom Allen uses the Husky in his past jobs, in his past positions. He's going to use a Tiger position going on this year. So we'll see what that really means. Is it going to be more of an outside linebacker? Is it going to be more of your Isaiah Simmons type, or will it be more of just your nickelback? We'll kind of see how it all shapes out for Clemson in 2025. But when you look at the roster right now of cornerbacks specifically, I think everybody has a lot of confidence in Avion Terrell, number 8, one of the cornerback number ones. Behind him, we've hearing a lot of good stuff from Brandon Strozier and Corin Gibson. Those are guys that Dabo Swinney has talked up about a lot this spring, and I feel like we will see them in 2025 early on. And then on the other side, you have Jaden Lukus and Ashton Hampton, who really, Jaden Lukus is that former 5-star guy who has kind of been injured frequently with his shoulders. And so Ashton Hampton really, to me, is fitting more into that role now of the right side cornerback, or the cornerback number, the other number 1 cornerback on the opposite side. So to me, I don't know exactly if this is going to work out all the way till fall, but I think most people feel very confident in Ashton Hampton and kind of concerned about where Jaden Lukus is working out with everything. Ashton Hampton could be Clemson's most important player in 2025. He's already got pretty good tape out there, good production. And he's extremely, extremely confident as a player. And I don't think last season was a fluke at all. I think it was a warning shot to other teams out there that says, hey, this guy is the real deal. And also kind of a, you know what, check this guy out kind of situation where he was a freshman and came on strong. Now, there's sometimes you get a sophomore slump. Clemson can't really afford a sophomore slump from him because they need him to step up quickly. He played in all 14 games. He had a lot of tackles, 30 tackles, 6 pass breakups, 2 interceptions, and a pick 6. He made splash plays exactly when Clemson needed it. And to me, he's already turned out to move on from rotational play. I think he is going to be in the mix to be a starter. What you saw last year was the truth. It wasn't a fluke. It wasn't a flash in the pan. I think you're going to see him move into that cornerback 1 role alongside of Avion Terrell on the opposite side. And I believe in his confidence to do that as well. He is tailor-made for an offense that's going to go back to what we've seen in the past with Clemson, which is that heavy press man defense. I think he's extremely physical at the line. He has great footwork and hip movement to be fast in recovery in case, something gets off right off the snap. He's not afraid to take chances when he needs to. He's exactly what Tom Allen needs on the outside for the cornerback position. If you saw how he did last season, he's already seems like a veteran out there. The college, most of the young men in college football take time to progress from the speed of high school to the speed of college football. I didn't see that as much with Ashton Hampton, and I know I'm still kind of holding myself back here because there's always that worry of a sophomore slump. I truly get that. But I feel as if he's going to do well in the next season. We've already seen a couple of games where he's been a huge impact. Can he be a shutdown corner that Clemson needs, and can he live up to the hype that he has kind of built? I think he's already proven that he is good in the spotlight in the college level. He just needs to continue to do it snap after snap and stay healthy as he's doing it, because there's no benefit if someone is on the bench injured. We saw that with Jaden Lukus, and why is, in my opinion, he jumping Jaden Lukus? And it really goes back to just injury. When Lukus is out there, it doesn't seem like he's fully 100%, at least last season. Maybe he's rehabbed enough to get back to the point of being healthy. The production, the physicality was not there for him. And I think that Lukus can fight back into that, and he has the talent to do so. But unfortunately, there's some tape now where we're seeing Lukus getting out of position more often than not. And so he needs to kind of settle back in, because he's that senior now. It's crazy to think, but he's that veteran guy who needs to kind of step up a little bit and show that he still belongs. And not just a rotational guy, but he belongs as a starter as well. If there's a little bit of competition there where both guys are healthy, I think it's a good thing for Clemson overall, because it's a pass-heavy league in general. So the more cornerbacks that you can trust out there, the better. I'm not a fan who's already written off Jaden Lukus. I know a lot of people already have, and I think shame on you for doing that. This guy has been a Clemson Tiger since day one, and he's now a senior. You should be fully backing him. Now, did he have the greatest season last season? No, he did not. But I think that he can fully rebound and get back into the mix as well. While all the hype is around Ashton Hampton, it kind of gets him out of the spotlight and puts it into where he can do some work behind the scenes to stay in it for sure. A lot of people say, well, are you concerned about Hampton being a sophomore going up against a team like LSU in week 1? And I think that's going to be the test for a lot of guys on the Clemson defense in 2025, because Clemson has a big-time matchup to start the season off. I believe that those guys are going to get tested early, and that's a great thing for Clemson overall, for sure. All right, we're going to continue our discussion about the Clemson secondary, because it seems as if that's the biggest concern for 2025 and all season, really. But we'll talk about kind of how the secondary looks with the safeties coming up next. Scaling your business requires the right expertise at the right time. With Upwork, you can find specialized freelancers in marketing, development, design, and more, experts ready to help you take your business to the next level. Upwork gives businesses flexibility by connecting them with top freelance talent across multiple industries. And for projects like IT, AI, web development, marketing, app development, whatever you need, whether it's extra hands for a project or a long-term partner, Upwork makes hiring simple and easy and affordable for you. Now, I've told you this before. I used to be on Upwork as a freelancer myself. I did some marketing and graphic design. I had a great experience there. I was matched up with people who valued me and I valued their work, and I got their tasks done and their projects done on time or before schedule for sure. So it was really, really great experience for me, and I got paid quickly. On the flip side, if you're looking for that right talent, you will be able to get those out there. People just like me who are passionate about what they're doing, and you can post a job free and simple and get somebody very, very quickly. Visit Upwork.com right now and post your job there for free. That's UPWORK.com, Upwork.com, to connect with top talent and grow your business today. Now, we just got done talking about the Clemson cornerbacks, and when you look at kind of the roster on cornerbacks, it's really Avion Terrell, Brandon Strozier, Ashton Hampton, Jaden Lukus kind of fighting there as well. Moving over to the secondary for the safeties, there are newer faces than in the past. Now, you still have Tyler Venables, so let me say that again. Clemson still has Tyler Venables on the team. Very, very, very crazy how he's still playing for the Tigers. But, he is definitely somebody who can go in and make some plays for you when you need him. Do you want him to be there as a starter? No. Do you want him to be there and have a ton of snaps? No. Personally, no. But he's not an unreliable player by any means. Is he your best player? Probably not, right? So you're moving into life after R.J. Mickens, and you're probably going to get a guy like Kylan Griffin, returning number 18. You probably remember him. He had early on, kind of like an Ashton Hampton, had a really good freshman season, sophomore season, and then kind of slowed down a little bit. Well, I guess redshirt freshman season and sophomore season. And then, now as a redshirt junior, he's kind of needs to remind everybody how good he is, and he's going to get his opportunity. But he's there with Kylan Griffin. He is there with Rob Billings and Kylan Webb. So you have a few guys there competing that I think could rotate for sure as well. And then on the other side, you have Ricardo Jones, who kind of had a really good season last year as well. Clemson had two freshmen that really, you couldn't keep them off the field in Ashton Hampton, or more than two freshmen, really. They had Ashton Hampton, Ricardo Jones, and Sammy Brown. These guys, you just could not keep off the field. You couldn't redshirt them at all because they were extremely talented. And it just goes into the success that the recruiting guys had for those three guys. So I do feel pretty confident in these three guys, especially Ricardo Jones, because I think he can be an elite guy in the back and be a general out on the field. He had a limited role, but you saw some serious production while he was out there for sure. He's athletic, but to me, what I read mostly about him is that he has a great IQ. He seems to be a guy that they trust to understand the playbook, understand the coverages, understand the rotations, and he can anticipate routes. He can communicate with the defense really well, and he also takes really good angles. So the coaching staff seems to entrust him extremely, even though he's just a sophomore, and that to me seems great going forward for him. So I got to love Ashton Hampton, but I don't know. Maybe I love Ricardo Jones a little bit more than Ashton Hampton because of this. Now, with R.J. Mickens gone, his time and his room to grow is now. He is likely going to be the starting free safety or one of the free safeties in rotation there on Tom Allen's defense, and they are going to want him to be a kind of a general in the back over the top. As I mentioned, the safeties are kind of a safety valve, if you will, for the defense. They make sure that there's no deep balls. They make sure they have coverage to the sidelines, and they have to kind of see everything in front of them, and they keep the ball in front of them as well. But they also can play down and stop the run too. So they have to play a very versatile role. And I think that Ricardo Jones and Kylan Griffin both can be trustworthy to do that. And the supporting cast behind them, you like them. If you follow recruiting, you do, but you really don't have a lot of snaps around Webb, Billings, those guys, Wilkinson. You do have a lot of snaps with Venables, but there's a good handful of guys you don't have a ton of snaps to see. So how much value will they bring to the defense? How much will you be able to rotate them, or will you be able to rotate them at all? Will it just be the Ricardo Jones, Kylan Griffin show? Hard to say right now off the top, but you do have to like what you see with Ricardo Jones based on his IQ, his ability to get down and stop the run. I believe he had an interception, and he did well in 2024. So even though it was limited time, he made the best of it. And it seemed like I remember watching games and I would write his name down as a guy who, was involved. And that's really what you want. You don't want guys who shy away from, the play or the ball. You want guys to kind of keep everything in front of them to an extent, right? When you can make a play on it, or you can get in that pile of guys, you want guys to do that. Now, there's a lot of times secondary players, they don't get involved when it's a pile up, and you can see that may cause some problems with field position, because when you get into that, then the offense and the running back or whoever it may be could have a leverage advantage because your defense doesn't want to get dirty. But I think that Kylan Griffin and Ricardo Jones are those guys that do want to get in and get scrappy with you. So Tom Allen's defense, to me, this is where they're going to be the biggest microscope. And the secondary, I think with the comments that we've had already from YouTube and over on X at the Morgan T Show, the scheme that Tom Allen does in the 4-2-5 and how he's moving and who he's using in the secondary is going to be under a microscope. And if it doesn't work out, I'm curious to see how the fans will react. And will they still want to do that extremely aggressive type of defense where you're pressing man on the outside and bringing your safeties in really tight? If you're giving up a ton of big time pass plays over the top, then you're not going to be really excited about the level of aggressiveness that you may see from Tom Allen. Are they going to get exposed or not? I think it will have to see how it goes, because these guys still have to prove that they can handle the increased playing time and role that they have in 2025. Based on what I've seen, though, I have initial confidence that these guys will be able to grow and build up. Ricardo Jones has the potential to be a star. The talk that we're hearing right now, that he's calm, cool, and collect. He's producing in practice, and he produced last season. So I believe that he's ready. Can he be a difference maker for 2025? I think so. I believe that having guys out there that are true veterans, or at least leaders, even if you're not a veteran, will help out the defense for sure. Young safeties switching over defensive coordinators, not really the best thing to think about either, because there's a learning curve there with learning a new coach. So I am curious how they're going to adapt to this. And I do feel like that if you are an opponent, you're thinking, I would like to test out those safeties and see exactly how good they are. We'll know very early on, because I think LSU will be that team to test out Clemson and to push the limits for sure. So we will see extremely, extremely quickly as we go. Coming up, we're going to wrap up the show, continuing to build on Tom Allen's defense and his scheme and what it really means for the secondary as a whole. And I'll throw in some discussion about the nickel position as well. The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performance, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action with FanDuel. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game. And before the tip-off comes, you can get in and see what's available, what's live, what player props are out there, what performance trims are out there, what same-game parlays are out there. Fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big with FanDuel. You know, I constantly talk about FanDuel's app. It's one of the smoothest and easiest to navigate in the entire sports betting industry, whether you're placing a quick bet, building a same game parlay, browsing live odds. Everything is intuitive. There's no clutter. There's no confusion. You know exactly what you're doing, and nobody wants to wait around for their winnings. When they do win, FanDuel gives you fast payouts. Extremely easy to use and fast payouts. What more could you want? If you're new to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head over to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, I'm going to finish up the show today touching on Tom Allen's scheme and how it could help benefit Clemson's defensive back room. Clemson's defensive back room, or secondary as a whole, they're not talented. They're not just skilled. I think Dabo made the right move in going after Tom Allen because of how he plays an aggressive style 4-2-5 system. Now, I know what you're saying, Morgan. I hate the 4-2-5. I want Clemson to go back to the 4-3. I don't believe in 2025 we'll see a ton of 4-3. If we do, it's because the linebackers just can't be kept off the field. But I know that Tom Allen is going to want a base out of a 4-2-5, which is specifically a nickel formation. You're going to want to have Khalil Barnes out there with Ashton Hampton and Avion Terrell instead of maybe a Jeremiah Alexander, unless it's a for sure running situation. So we know Tom Allen is built that way, and I feel as if Clemson's more senior and veteran players for the team are in a 4-2-5 base defense. Now, if you go to a 4-3, you are injecting in someone like a Jamal Anderson, who's not as exposed or experienced right now, and you're also throwing in a Jeremiah Alexander, who doesn't have a ton of snaps either, even though he was highly recruited. With 5 defensive backs on the field almost every snap, the defense works in the secondary's favor because it will get your best guys out there, and it will kind of work its way into stopping the pass a little bit better, so that you're not so pressured on just the two outside cornerbacks to stop everything. Khalil Barnes out there fits really well into that tiger position, that hybrid role where you can blitz, you can cover the slot, you can tackle in the box, you can rotate to something deep. He's an extremely versatile piece or weapon, and I even think someone like a Wade Woodaz could turn over there and get into that as well. Having that many players and having a specific tiger position that can be versatile, I think, is very important for Clemson. And it allows Hampton and Terrell to kind of trust their man coverage because they know that they have help around over top, and they can stay fast as a defense. Opens up blitz packages, rotating looks, late coverages, gets the cornerbacks in as well on the blitzing. It all starts with trusting the cornerbacks, and I think Clemson has some good ones as well. And Tom Allen is going to run through having a general at the linebacker, a general at the safety, and 2 cornerbacks that he can be extremely aggressive with, and then that tiger position hybrid player in a Woodaz or a Khalil Barnes. That's how I'm envisioning it so far. But I mean, I haven't seen a ton of Tom Allen over the years because I'm just not a big Indiana fan or a Penn State fan. But I can say in some of the film that I have watched that it does seem like the 4-2-5 may be what he sticks with, what he bases out of. And it really, based on Clemson's roster right now, it seems like a good move for sure. Now, Tom Allen also thrives in disguising and pressuring offenses. And I think that's really key, because when we look back at the most successful Clemson defenses, that's what they did. They did not give you a look at what they were going to do pre-snap at all. They did not get into their formation until the last. They got into their formation at the last minute. They got into their coverage and alignment at the very last second, if you will. Disguising their coverages very well, getting safeties to roll down at the last second, defensive ends even to roll out, which I know not everybody likes that either, but as long as you have some athletic ones to do it, I think it works out well. Tom Allen is going to have a good variety of looks that you're going to get, but it is going to base out of that nickel formation. So you're going to have a majority of defensive backs out there. The depth to me will be tested, that's for sure, because as we mentioned, the guys behind the starters don't have a ton of snaps that we've seen. So they're going to have to kind of step up and show us what they can do. And there is a real concern about Clemson's depth at secondary, and how they're going to rotate and how long they will last and how will they work through an injury if there is one. Is it the one position that you should be worried about? I say don't ever be worried about anything in the spring. But if Clemson gets an injury, then I start to get a little bit more worried, because if one of those starters are out, the backups are extremely untested. So if you ask me how this defense will look in 2025 compared to 2024, I think the biggest thing that you're going to see is aggressiveness. You're going to see more defensive backs out there being aggressive, more speed out there to be aggressive, more blitzes, and more attempts to confuse and fluster a quarterback from the start, not allow them to sit idly and scan the field with limited to no pressure. Disguising coverages is going to be able to create more pressure on that quarterback to be able to show what they can do. And at the college level, I trust the defense more to fluster the quarterback than the quarterback to rise to the occasion. And I believe that that's how Brent Venables ran it as well, is to say, hey, try and beat us. I don't care how good you are. We're going to fluster you and get to you fast. So you think you're good now. Wait till you only have 1 second to think. Disguising coverages and doing things late also can put you vulnerable as well, can make you open to busted coverages. If the safeties don't communicate, if these young guys don't communicate, yes, it will. Tom Allen, in being able to work through that, is going to be extremely important in 2025. How quickly can he get the secondary up to par to where he can trust them to manage the game without having to be told every single thing? And the depth to me is another concern too. If the teams get out with a bunch of tempo, you're going to get gassed a little bit. And I don't want to see busted deep balls that just, really demoralize you because it's a quick score, because Clemson can't trust their depth. So I am a little bit concerned about that as well. But I do feel that Clemson has some stars that you can trust and you can look forward to. And I do feel that Tom Allen has the scheme that can fit Clemson's defense very, very well, or Clemson's defensive roster very, very well. So I appreciate you being a part of the show again. Hey, that's a wrap for today. Thank you so much for making Locked On Clemson your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the Locked On NFL Draft podcast with Damon Parson and Keith Sanchez. As your favorite collegiate players are now ready for the next level, get the latest in draft results and rumors and news every day. Find Locked On NFL Draft on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Thank you so much again for being a part of the show, and we'll see you tomorrow. And as always, Tiger fans, we'll see you at the top of the hill.